Hi everyone, this is Christa Clark with artisticvegan.com and welcome to the Artistic Vegan Show, episode number 3. And today we're going to be making vegan hamburgers, and to start, we'll make vegan buns. So I took my baguette recipe that I recently showed on YouTube as well as my blog, and I thought it would be a nice recipe to try for buns. So it's kind of an experiment, but we'll go ahead and give it a go. So I'm going to take some oil and grease my hands. It's also a great moisturizer. All right, so I'm going to divide that into 4 pieces. One. Go ahead and shape it into the shape of a hamburger bun. Okay. So I went ahead and put these on a pan lined with parchment paper, though you could just grease your pan or flour your pan. These are really easy to work with, very nice. So far, so good. Take some dairy-free milk. I have some coconut milk here since it's a little bit more fat, and I am going to brush that on top. I've already preheated my oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and I'm going to pop them in until they get golden, probably about 20 minutes, maybe 30. And here you can sprinkle on whatever you would like. I'm going to go ahead and use a little bit of chia seeds. In the past, I've used onion and oats. Go ahead and place these in the oven for about 20 or 30 minutes until golden brown. Here's how they look before. So my oven's actually crawled up to 400 degrees, so I'm going to keep an extra close eye on them, probably be about 20. All right, next we'll make some sweet potato fries because it's summertime and they just are really yummy and delicious. So go ahead and take a couple sweet potatoes. Mine are a little small, but they'll work. Go ahead and peel those. Okay, so I went for kind of a smaller wedge. So you want to put the potatoes in a pot, go ahead and bring it to a boil. Once it boils for a minute or 2, or once you can pierce it with a fork, go ahead and turn it, remove it from the heat, we'll drain, and proceed to bake. Okay, it smells like our buns are done. It's only been 10, 12, maybe 15 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and pull them out. They look nice and golden. So let's go ahead and see what they look like. All right, so the recipe worked out. These look great. And if you want to test them, you can cook them. They sound nice and hollow. So I'll probably just move them over to a cooling rack, let them cool. And once they're cool, we can use them for our burgers. Awesome. Our fries are getting ready. So the sweet potatoes have been boiled. They're soft. I can pierce them with a fork. I've just added some salt, pepper, cayenne, as well as a little bit of paprika, sprinkled it on. I'm going to mix it together, pour it onto the sheet with the parchment paper, and then proceed to bake it at about 450 to 500 degrees until they're nice and crisp and golden. Now we'll be making the burgers. This is probably the most exciting part. I did a lot of research and a lot of effort went into making just the perfect vegan burger. The first one I made, it looked just absolutely wonderful, but the inside was a little soft. So I come up with a new way to make it a little bit more like the texture you'd expect. So these are really fantastic. My husband loved them so much, he said I should sell them and patent them, and instead I'm going to share them with you so you can enjoy them in your home. All right, so to start, take a 1/4 cup of diced onion. So nice easy way is to just cut it in half, cut off the end, and then go ahead and make vertical slits. And horizontal. and chop. So I want about a quarter cup of that. And this is just enough to make 2 personal patties. This recipe can be increased to make a whole bunch, and you can freeze them, you can do whatever you want. So we're just gonna make 2, one for me and one for Gerald. I have 2 mushrooms. I'm gonna dice these, and it should make about half a cup. Here's a half cup. And look at that. Then you're going to want to take a half clove of garlic, or I have just a very small clove, so I'm going to use that. I'm going to combine all of these in a pan and saute them for just a few minutes to release the fragrance and mix in some spices, so stay tuned. I'm going to turn the camera and show you. Alright, so you're going to heat up a skillet. I'm going to put just a little bit of oil in the pan. You could also use water for oil-free, though I do notice a little bit of fat content is usually included in a vegan burger or a regular burger, so I'm going to include it. Once it's warm, I'm going to heat up the onions first for a minute or 2 until they become fragrant and slightly soft. The onions are smelling great. I'm going to add the mushrooms. I'm going to go ahead and add the crushed and diced garlic clove as well. To that, I have 3/4 cup black beans. I'm going to add that as well. To that, I'm going to add 1/4 teaspoon salt and pepper. A half teaspoon of paprika. A 1/4 teaspoon of beet powder, which is dehydrated beets ground into a fine powder that we made. I'm going to mix that up. Add an 1/8 teaspoon or a few drops of liquid smoke, up to a 1/4 teaspoon. In the past I did an 1/8, but it looks like I have a 1/4 teaspoon here. That'll be fine. I'm going to turn it off the heat. Everything smells absolutely delicious. It's coming along great. From here, we're going to add everything to a food processor. Alright, so the next phase is to combine everything in the food processor and blitz it together into a patty. So I'm going to take 3/4 cup of oats. That's 1/2 cup. 3/4. Put the oats in a food processor and blitz until it's a small, short consistency, almost like a quick oats. Okay, so I've taken the oats, blitzed them up. They're kind of the consistency of a quick oats. The reason I did this was because it makes, if you use gluten-free oats and you don't have celiac disease, it makes a gluten-free breadcrumb. You could also use rice cakes. I've used this in the past. I haven't tried in this recipe, but I have used them in other recipes. And you could also use a gluten-free cracker, gluten-free bread, or if you're not gluten-free, if that's not a concern, panko crumbs would work great here. So I've got that blitzed together. I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of Dijon mustard, 2 teaspoons of a starch. I have tapioca starch, though any starch will do. A 1/2 teaspoon psyllium husk, 1 teaspoon of nutritional yeast, 1 teaspoon coconut sugar, 1 teaspoon coconut butter, or coconut oil. This is actually coconut oil. And 1/2 cup of walnuts. To that, I'm gonna go ahead and add my bean mixture. Now that I have everything in my food processor, I'm going to process it for 1 to 2 minutes until everything whirls together. At first, you might have to scrape it down a little bit, but it should turn into one unit and move around those blades, and that's what we're looking for. So I'll be right back after I blend that out. And sometimes you gotta feel things out. I think these would be even better with 1 more teaspoon of coconut oil, so I'm gonna add it. All right, so it'll start whirling together and work together as one unit. You'll see it combining and mixing, and that's when you're ready. With greased hands, make your patties. You could also wet your hands with water here. I was reading the key to a perfect patty is to press the middle down just about 1/4 inch, just a little bit lower than the outside. Once you're pleased with your patty shape, we'll go ahead and move that to a pan. I'm gonna set it down while I create the other one real quick. Not unrail, let's begin. So I'm gonna go ahead and fry these up. I'll turn the camera so you can watch them. Heat up a flat non-stick skillet, put just a little bit of oil on the surface, and then we'll add the patties once the pan is nice and hot. You can also heat the pan, then add the oil. Put them on the hot grill or skillet. You could even barbecue these and cook them for about 5 to 6 minutes on one side, and then flip and we'll do another 5 to 6, and the heat is about medium high, airing on the edge of high. All right, it's been about 5 minutes. I'm gonna flip them. This will give them a nice crisp exterior, and we'll do about 4 to 5, 6 minutes on the other side. These are just fantastic. They're very easy to work with. They flip really easily. There's virtually no air. You could add a slice of vegan cheese or whatever toppings you would like. You could slather them in barbecue sauce. I have not tried baking them, but I thinking that they'll probably bake rather nice. The oddest thing is it actually almost smells like burgers are cooking in here. So while those are finishing up, I'm gonna prepare the buns. Here's how they turned out, super cute. The ultimate test. What's great is they hold up. They're not gonna fall apart on me. I think these are gonna hold the burger. I could have probably made them a little bit bigger, but that's up to the buns. I'm gonna add just a little bit of coconut butter and toast them on that same grill that I have the burgers on. While those are finishing up, I am going to prepare the toppings. So I have the tomato here, I'm gonna slice it. My buns are golden, the burgers are done. I turn off the heat and I'll just finish this up and snap. Alright, so our little bun and big burger, or you could just make a beautiful little salad without the bun or put the bun on the side, which is what I'm going to do for the second one for aesthetics reasons. This is also another way, if you don't want to make buns, you want low carb, this is a great way to go. Okay, so to that I'm going to add our sweet potato fries and we'll be done and ready to eat. All right, so there you have it, a plant-based meal. You've got a vegan burger with a vegan, gluten-free, yeast-free, oil-free bun, and some oil-free, crunchy, and delicious sweet potato fries. I'm gonna get a picture real quick. I just love it when a meal works out, and this is one of those meals. So if you want to serve it to anyone, whether they're vegan or not, this is a great meal for kids who still want to have that burger. You can add some vegan cheese and have a cheeseburger. You can make barbecue sauce and make it a barbecue cheeseburger. You could do a ton of different variations here. This is just one example of many. I used to not be a big sweet potato fry fan, but when you add a little bit of spice to it, they come out really great. And I find you don't really even need to add the extra oil since we used it in other places. I'm not sure if this is even possible, but I'll give it a go. Usually we eat our burgers like this on the the lettuce, but with the bun, it adds an extra layer of comfort and deliciousness. And even though the buns are small, you can still pick it up and take a nice big bite. Thank you so much for joining me for episode number 3 of the Artistic Vegan Show, and I do hope you join me next week for another episode.